What's happening, HEXO traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today's Wednesday, February 8th. Happy hump day. Hope you're doing awesome. And in today's video, going to be discussing, we got a banger video for you today. This one's going to be absolute pure fire. We've got some massive news from HEXO, from Redecan, and just it continues to bring in the positive news, string together a few pieces of positive news, something that we're not accustomed to as of late. But essentially in this video, going to be discussing the news that came out today regarding increased production. They also have a new enhanced inhalation technology that we're going to be covering, and they're going to be bringing the TnT and Original Stash brands and strains into the Redecan Redees format. So like I said, this is going to be an absolute pure fire video here today. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As I mentioned, I can't stress enough how bullish this news is, and I've been saying for a while now that King HEXO, once King HEXO gets into craft, it's going to put all other craft growers to shame. And we're starting to see all of this come to fruition in very fast order here. So we'll go over this Yahoo Finance article that came out today. HEXO increases production of its popular straight edge pre-rolls and launches enhanced inhalation technology. So we'll go through this a little bit quicker here. So the producer HEXO successfully completed the expansion of its straight-edge pre-roll production capacity at the company's Fenwick, Ontario site, and will be launching a unique proprietary inhalation technology intended to greatly improve the MJ experience. And as you know, they've been getting rid of facilities that had to do, it all stemmed with the acquisition of Zenobis, right? They had the Atholville facility that they no longer needed. It was state-of-the-art, but they no longer needed that after all of the acquisitions and all of the inheritance from the Redecan acquisition, right? So they're starting to rely more on the Redecan facilities. So the development allows HEXO to increase its straight-edge pre-roll production capacity, accelerating the delivery of the immensely popular Redecan Redees product to include the new TnT MJ strain series and expanding HEXO's Original Stash brand to address rising consumer demand. So let's just go over here. If you recall this, HEXO launches 5 new MJ strains under market-leading Redecan and Original Stash brands. So HEXO's Redecan Redees are now going to be having a THC range of 23 to 35%. So the Animal Runts, which is a popular animal cookie in California Runts strains mix is a fruity tartness along with sweet and sour aroma, highlighted by astounding levels of limonene. So that one there is about 30 to 36% THC. And they sold out really quickly in Ontario, and they are back in stock now. So if you're in Ontario, you can expect to see those back on the shelf. But these are essentially going to be now be offered underneath the new Redecan Redees. So this is going to be huge, massive news. And like I said, I can't stress how important this is and how big this is really going to be, because we know that the Redees have very high margins and they're already amazing, and bringing these new strains are going to be even better. And there's been nothing but great positive feedback from the new strains. Consumers have reacted positively. Consumers have reacted positively to the new format and strains, and this expansion supports HEXO's continued leadership of the Canadian straight-edge pre-roll market. Canadian consumers immediately took to our straight-edge pre-roll format, and we recognized that to satisfy the growing demand, we'd need to up our production significantly, said CEO Charlie Bowman. It was important to expand capacity without sacrificing THC percentage and terpene quality. This increased capacity allows HEXO to provide our new TnT strains series in straight-edge pre-roll format. Again, massive news. While offering a broader price range, also massive news, and new product innovations. The Redecan Redees Straight Edge Pre-Roll is HEXO's premium pre-roll product and Canada's fastest growing and largest pre-roll in terms of market share. Redees are known as some of the smoothest products on the market and do not have the afterburn like many straight edge pre-roll products. Consumers also, and there's also some companies like Oxy they got the back 40s. They're trying to copycat HEXO because HEXO is always a leader in the space. And, it's a good thing when people are trying to copy what you're doing, because that means you're doing something right. But one thing I noticed about the back 40s is their quality wasn't as good. When you open the pack, there was shake all over the place, and it just didn't stay together very well. But not knocking the back 40s, I did like them, but obviously they can't come close to the king. Consumers also prefer their ease of use, appealing packaging, and convenience over the more common but less consistent commodity MJ products. Thoughtfully designed with extra long filters, tightly packaged and offered in a convenient 10-pack, Redecan Redees are the original personal size straight edge pre-roll. Redecan Ready straight edge pre-rolls also now feature a unique inhalation technology. This is something I brought up to HEXO as well, that I noticed it didn't burn very well in cold temperatures. So this could be something as well that stemmed from that. But this is another massive, and this is what's going to separate the men from the boys, or the women from the girls, so to speak, is in the MJ space. It's not anybody can grow good MJ, right? We've got tons of craft growers now. There's no shortage of them. There's tons in the US. There's tons here in Canada. We got Ogen, we got Decibel, we got Canara, right? But again, Canara, I think, is a good value proposition because they're learning how to do it at scale, right? They have massive grow room there, which came from the Green Organic Dutchman, and they're selling it at a great price point. So I think Canara has a good business model because they're doing it at scale, and they figured that out, right? So they could even get into the consulting business as well. But essentially, eventually, the market share is going to run out for craft growers. You can't just grow good MJ, right? That's not a business model that you can rely on, because there's going to be so much competition, and then you're going to get people like the likes of HEXO who get into the space, right? Molson Coors didn't make the best beer, but they started to buy brands like Blue Moon and all these other craft brands, and now they're the leaders in the space in both of those the regular beer, and then not only that, but craft beer, right? So they're big into that as well. So not only are you going to have to compete with other craft growers, you're going to have to compete with the tier ones and the HEXOs of the world who are getting into craft, right? So I always said, if HEXO gets into craft, watch out, right? Make way for the king. But so Redecan Ready straight edge pre-rolls also now feature a unique inhalation technology, and this is what I was getting at. It's all about the IP, the intellectual protocol. It's about the the overall innovation, right? It's like what Coca-Cola said. Coca-Cola just sells sugar water, right? But it's about making the commodity into something special, having that IP. That's what's going to separate the men from the boys and the women from the girls in the space, is that IP, right? And what did SSL say? Sebastian St. Louis, the old HEXO CEO and founder of the company, co-founder, with Adam Myron, he said that pre-roll technology, the Redecan pre-roll Redees pre-roll tech, was worth $1 billion in itself. As we know, Tilray tried to buy Redecan for about $1.4 billion. They turned it down, went with HEXO for $925 million. So, and I would agree that, and now you're starting to see what he was talking about, what SSL was talking about. I would argue it's worth well over $1 billion, right? And then not only to factor in that, you factor in all the brands that go along with it, the strains, right? All the other components that go along with the Redecan brand, but just massive, right? Massive opportunity and news here. So I can't stress enough how big this is. So Redecan Ready straight edge pre-rolls also now feature a unique inhalation technology developed through comprehensive consumer research and feedback. Incorporating the new proprietary technology allows enhanced draw and intake, further heightening the consumer experience. So can't wait to see this. Consumers provided great feedback on how we could make the products even better, said Bowman, and I was one of them. So I said that they didn't burn as great during cold temperatures, especially here in Edmonton and the western coast of Canada, right? Minus 40, minus 50. You're bound to run into some issues, so I'm excited to see if that has been rectified. We use this feedback to develop a new generation of straight edge pre-rolls exclusively for the new Redecan Redees and other HEXO brands. HEXO's flagship Redecan Redees brand is launching several TnT strains throughout the year, including Warlock, Blueberry, and Animal Runts, along with a 2-to-1 ratio CBD-THC balanced product, also CBD Kush, which offers the benefits of both cannabinoids. The brand will also continue to feature consumer favorites such as the Cold Creek Kush Redees and Wapa's Redees. HEXO's Original Stash line will soon launch its own pre-roll, straight-edge pre-roll as well, featuring the line's popular Atomic Sour Haze and Powdered Donuts. As the Canadian MJ market continues to evolve, expanding our straight-edge pre-roll capacity was essential to strengthen HEXO's market leadership, added Bowman. We're building on the success of our Redecan Redees, a leading straight-edge pre-roll in Canada, which also has great margins, by the way, by introducing more products with higher THC and higher cannabinoids percentages to meet consumer needs and offer a preferred MJ experience, right? And it's all about consumer experience and the quality, the consistency, which are known from the Redees. But yeah, obviously the market share has been dwindling a little bit, but I think that's going to increase because they've been getting rid of products that haven't been profitable and focusing more on the ones that are profitable. And I believe the margins on the Redees are somewhere between 35 and 45%. If you look at Apple's recent earnings, their gross margins were around 40%, right? So we're matching those kind of margins with the Redees. And as Curaleaf CEO said, they paid $330 billion with a B to the U.S. government under 280E tax code, and they said they'd already be paying a dividend if it wasn't for that tax code. And he said that MJ companies in the future are going to be very, very high paying dividend companies. So that's something to look forward to. And with those sort of margins, it's no wonder. Also, Redecan pre-roll tech has been brought to you through the Soleil Slims. So Tilray is actually utilizing the Redecan Redees. So are you starting to see why SSL said this is worth $1 billion, right? And again, I think it's worth well over $1 billion in my opinion. Also, what else do we know? I did a video 1 year ago, HEXO products coming to the USA. And Fire and Flower CEO says hat is off to the Redecan Redees, right? Again, another more writing on the wall that this technology is worth well over $1 billion in my opinion. And in that video, they stated that through a special purpose vehicle, SPV, through that SPV, they're going to be able to bring gel caps and Redees to the USA. And we heard SSL say many times that they're going to be doing white labeling, right? And white labeling, we're already doing it now for Tilray through the strategic alliance with HEXO and Tilray. Tilray doesn't own any HEXO yet, or they're not partnered, they're not buying them yet. They're just a debt holder. They're the biggest debt holder. But once they convert into equity, then they would be, one of the biggest shareholders. But right now, they're just a debt holder. But they're already doing white labeling in Canada. It's just a matter of time before we see that in the US, in my opinion. And like I said, the margins are so high on the Redees that they're going to be able to sell it wholesale to retailers in the US through an SPV. And then they will be able to, the retailers or, the people that are buying it from HEXO are able to resell it again for another decent margin, right? So this is, I've never been more confident in HEXO. But with that being said, I did do a video on MedMen yesterday. If you haven't seen that, check that out. MedMen warns about a cash situation and potential imminent bankruptcy looming for MedMen. I go over my thoughts and opinions on that. We know that Tilray also is a big debt holder of MedMen, so they have the convertible notes of MedMen. Tilray also has the convertible notes of HEXO. So are we starting to see the potential for Tilray, a merger and acquisition between HEXO, Tilray, and MedMen? Could that happen? We know that Congress is working on potentially rescheduling MJ from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. And if that were to happen, we could potentially see all of this come to fruition, right? Or maybe it gets descheduled or rescheduled to 4 or Schedule 5 or descheduled altogether, right? Or maybe it ends on the same level as alcohol and tobacco, right? Which I think, and I did another video on that, on why the industry is being held back, why are MJ stocks taking so long to bottom out is because of big pharma, big tobacco, big alcohol, the most to lose. In my opinion, big pharma the most to lose, but they're trying to hold the industry back so that they can get positioned, and they have the most to lose, so they need to slow the industry down so that they can get positioned and make their money off of it, right? But like I said, wouldn't be surprised if Tilray, HEXO, and MedMen all eventually ended up under one big umbrella as a big conglomerate in the space. What do we know about Tilray as well? That the founders and the board agreed to pay a $40 million to end a lawsuit. And what do we know about HEXO? They've been winning every single lawsuit. There was a trademark infringement in California, I think it was. There was also just another lawsuit that they just won. So HEXO's been winning every lawsuit, and Tilray settled and paid $40 million to end the lawsuit, right? They didn't just outright win. They settled and paid $40 million. So I wonder if Tilray did acquire HEXO or they merged. Also hearing some rumblings that potentially HEXO could be sold in the next 90 to 120 days, and that lines up well with their earnings as well in March, and they said that they could be positive adjusted EBITDA soon. And most companies that want to get bought out, or most companies that get sold, or companies that want to buy out other companies, they want to see, one of the metrics they want to see is positive adjusted EBITDA or positive EPS or cash flow positive, right? So that could be a precursor. If we do see positive adjusted EBITDA, maybe that could lead to a potential deal. And that deal could be the likes of Tilray, HEXO, and Redecan, right, under one umbrella, and then potentially MedMen as well, right? Imagine the possibilities and the potential there, and the massive conglomerate that would take, right? And we know that Tilray doesn't have the best brand. Personally, I don't like the name, the brand, Afria, Tilray. I don't think either of them are very good. They decided to take Tilray over Afria. And if HEXO did merge with Tilray, I think they would keep the name HEXO. HEXO, they've already, like I said, they fought tooth and nail about the trademark infringement. HEXO just rolls off the tongue. I think it's a great name, great brand. Redecan as well, very great name, very great brand. And I think that if they did ever merge, which is possible, I think it's a 50-50 chance at this point. Anything's possible with the state of the market and the sector, right? But I think that they could potentially keep the HEXO brand over Tilray. And like I said, kind of tarnishing the name for Tilray with all these lawsuits and things like that. But it's going to be interesting to see earnings for March. It's tentative for March 16th at the moment. EPS is forecasted at negative 0.0233, so getting very, very close to positive. And revenue is forecasted at 41.7 million Canadian. This is Canadian dollars since they report in Canadian. So like I said, absolute pure fire news today. Super excited. Never been more confident in what is HEXO and Redecan today. And super excited for the future. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know what you think about this news today. But I am fired up. I've never been more confident in this space and in HEXO, and I'm just grateful to be alive and experiencing this with you all. It's been an absolute journey, but really, we're only in the first inning, folks. Going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Powell Group. Thanks for joining us. If you could smash the like on your way out, I appreciate it, and share the video with anybody that might find value. Going to end it there. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next video.